Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on that levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm cool. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Big Brain Plays.
What's going on, everyone? Sorry about the slightly delayed stream, scuffed intro, transitions. Having some tech issues this morning, but I think we are all good to go. So how's everyone doing? Hope we're all doing well. Ben, how's your
doing good? Pretty good, you know. It's a nice day.
It's good. And Chase, how's everything going?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a great day. I'm in Ohio. Struggling a little bit recently betting, but that's how it is. We're gonna get it back on track here.
Yeah, I mean, and no better place to get the betting luck turned around than a Costco parking lot in Ohio. And yeah, holy microphone Ben, said somebody in the chat. That was the tech issues that we were trying.
Nick, I don't know, man. I might have to. I don't know.
Can you switch to your webcam mic?
I could try.
It is a little ear rapey, I think, going through the stream.
What about? Okay, what if I?
The mixer is just like on fire. It's like up in the red the entire time you're talking.
Okay. Let me see.
So yeah,
why pay all this money for technology when you just do it on your phone in a Costco?
Exactly. I mean, if you have the phone for it, and yeah, West by God says Ben has the best mic on Twitch. This makes me sad. I mean, Ben, your audio quality is usually immaculate, so I have no clue what's going on.
Does it sound any better?
I mean, it objectively sounds worse, but it's also not like setting the mixer off like panic, red alert.
Well, what do you want me to do? I know it's a tough. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't want to take away from the stream with my audio issues.
I mean, I don't have the 2-person thing set up to go, so we're sticking with this.
You could also. Is your phone good, Ben? You could try your phone.
Yeah. I guess I could get on my phone, huh? Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, apologies, guys. I switched my mic and laptop.
Maybe, yeah, try moving further away from your mic. Set it back to the Yeti. This is a tech support stream now, not a sports betting stream anymore. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Okay, what about now?
That sounds a lot better, I think.
What about on the other end for the listeners?
I think we're good. I might need to get like a proper audio mixer on my end so I can like manually adjust each individual person's volume. But that's a story for another day. So let's Yeah, you could. They say you could still be a little further back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. After all of that, two people said just put the mic on the other side of the room.
I'll just have to talk very quietly.
Yeah, we can whisper. You can do a little ASMR.
Yep.
That's what the viewers come to.
Yeah, Ben, can you maybe go into your Discord settings and turn your microphone volume down.
Okay. All right, what about now?
Okay, turn it back up a little bit. But that was so much better.
Or I can just move.
Now we're just
that was
messing
good.
with
That was good. Whatever you did
right there.
right there. This is good, I think.
Don't move.
Don't move.
It's like when my mom said when she was a kid, like they would have to move the antenna, and like no one could move
Yeah,
to watch.
this
event.
this is good enough. I think as long as the chat can hear you, I can turn just the Discord mixer in general down a little bit. But I think that we're okay.
Alrighty.
So the tech support portion of the stream is over. Let's go ahead and return to your regularly scheduled programming, aka this massive 130 game college basketball slate that we've got going on today. So we have a really cool new feature on the stream today, and that is this odds capture, courtesy of our friends at Unabated. Let me throw a link to this in the chat. This is a real-time game odds screen with live feeds from tons and tons and tons of books. So you can choose kind of what books that you want. So say I don't want WinBet, instead I want BetMGM. You can just take BetMGM and slide it over. This is a really, really awesome tool. They're not paying us to be talking about this or anything. It's just a product that we legitimately really are excited for. This launched just a couple days ago. So be sure to check that out. Super low latency, like 30 to 45 second latency on all of the odds. So really awesome tool that we're going to use for our odds capture moving forward. So anyways, we should have been live starting to talk about 20 minutes ago. So we're a little bit behind schedule. We got to move quick. So let's go ahead and hop right into the first category.
Degenerates only.
I was looking at Ballsack State -4 against Dickhead State. Ballsacks covered their last 10 straight games, and my boy says they're a wagon.
And not so surprisingly, the Degens only game today is once again going to be the midnight Hawaii game between UC Santa Barbara and the University of Hawaii. So currently, Hawaii at home is a 1-point favorite. Over/under in this game set at, I believe, right around 135.5. Although depending on the book, you might see a different number. So, gentlemen, what are the thoughts that we have on this game?
I'll start this one off.
Let's hear it.
Hawaii on Thursday, I felt like should have covered that game. They let it slip down the stretch. I think the spread was 11.5. They only won by 7. I don't know if that's misleading at all or anything there, but it was a game where they had pretty much control throughout, and then just the last 6 minutes they just kind of turned off the tempo a little bit. But I don't really have a lot to say here. I mean, again, it's a D-Gen game. UC Santa Barbara is a interesting team. I mean, maybe they can make a run for their conference tournament, but nothing too special with this team, so I'm going to lean with Hawaii at home. Pretty square, but that's my pick there.
So Chase, what about you?
Yeah, you don't bet against Hawaii on the island, especially when they play this late of a game. But I'm actually going to go with the over here. 135.5 seems a little bit low. I like betting late night overs, and I like both these offenses quite a bit. I think this game could get to the 70s, and I just like betting late night overs. I hope that it hits early and we can go to bed earlier. If not, we can grind it out. We can get to overtime or something like that, and we can stay up till 2:30 in the morning here on Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna actually disagree with Ben on this one. So for some reason, the score for this game didn't populate correctly into the dashboard, but the model actually has Santa Barbara winning this game by about 1.5 points. And I kind of like this spot for them. I think that talent-wise, UC Santa Barbara is probably the best team in the Big West Conference. But they've been a little bit disappointing this year. They've had a couple letdown spots on the road already. There was an OT loss against UC San Diego. That they had late collapses against Long Beach State and Cal State Fullerton as well. So I think that the 1-2 conference record and their 8-7 overall record are both a little bit misleading. I think that only laying 1.5 points here. I like Santa Barbara.
Does your dog not like the Santa Barbara pick?
No, Ben's dogs definitely are on Hawaii
dog.
here.
Yeah, they're going crazy right now.
They like Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe they want to go to Hawaii. That's what they're barking for. We'll bark for vacation.
They probably see a bunny out there. They love bunnies. Hold on, I'll be back.
So real quick, I'm just going to take a look at the chat poll. It looks like chat doesn't really have very many opinions about this game. Only 6 votes. Or only 5 votes. So guys, be sure to vote if you have not done so already. But it looks like of the now 6 votes, that Hawaii and the over are very, very strong contenders here. Seems to be the thing that everybody likes. So the model, total-wise, actually has this game at exactly 135.5. So I can't, just based on the model, make a lean. So
My dog's like the under, Chase.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go the over on barks.
Yeah.
So yeah, poll's closing up, and it looks like the over is definitely the winner. We've got 11 votes out of 12 total for the over.
I must be a convincing man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably take the over if I did have to take a side.
Yeah.
On the
Never go against Hawaii on the island, except for last game.
Yeah, so actually Hawaii on the island is right around 500 against the spread over the last few years. I think that the Hawaii factor is appropriately baked in. I don't think it's an edge.
Chase, you know one of my favorite, well, and Nick too, but Chase is more a college football guy. One of my favorite stats is like Boise State at home is like 40% ATS over the last like 6 years.
Don't bet against Boise on the blue turf.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, Boise on that blue turf, man."
Yeah, I mean,
but it's like Nick said, it's cooked into the line. That blue turf is cooked in.
Yeah, I mean, something like that. It's only an edge if Vegas is not accounting for it, or is accounting for it in the wrong amount.
I will say there is one little edge though. You see Madison Square Garden college basketball unders. Somehow they haven't really caught on to that. That's interesting.
Huh.
That is interesting.
Is that goes for all Madison Square Garden games? So St. John's and NIT?
It's mainly college games, and I think there's something to it where it's teams that aren't familiar. So like the St. John's maybe wouldn't be included, but if it's like Kentucky, when they have those, what's that tournament? Yeah, NIT, lots of unders. So
okay.
something to think about later on in the NIT because I'll be betting NIT.
Yeah, I mean,
The Buffs will probably be in the NIT, so I will be too.
I mean, and Big East.
You're right.
Is at the Garden.
Pitt will be in the CBI.
Pitt will be on the golf course. So
Northern Colorado probably will be. There's what, the CBI? What's the other one?
might see
One more.
might see JMU at one of those because they can't play the conference
Yeah.
tournament, but they're definitely a postseason quality team.
Yeah.
So a couple comments from the chat. So pick six, I think this is an interesting point. And another thing that we were discussing in the run up to the stream. The public is heavily intoxicated today. Not sure how you picked one game. Yeah, it was not an easy task to pick one game for public intoxication.
Yeah. Especially on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And JM Minor says, I have 2K left in my account. I want to double up on one game. I would strongly recommend not attempting to double up on one game and instead using the 2K bankroll responsibly to try and double up over the long term.
Because you double up and you get into a Fresno Boise State situation.
Mm-hmm. Or 5-unit Maxwell goat play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just a coin flip. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would spread that out over several bets.
Chase, did you see that last night?
I did. I was on Fresno. I didn't know Krabs was all over Fresno.
I was on Fresno.
If he was, I probably would have avoided it. But yeah, I was on Fresno, and I got home from the bars last night and watched overtime.
That was one of the wildest games that I did not expect to happen. You know, just it was so ugly, and then like the last 10 minutes in the OT were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Minor, so he says so $2 per bet. No, not 1,000 $2 bets. Somewhere $100.
Yeah,
$200 if you want to be a little aggressive with it.
Because then what? If you double up and hit, then what?
Yeah, I mean you're gonna need to transition to a responsible.
Then you double
sizing.
up again, Ben.
Yeah, I mean it's easy. You just double up 20 times in a row, and then.
Well, when I ask people, I say like, okay, what's the end goal here? Like a lot of people in sports betting don't really have one. Because then if you hit your bet and you have 4K, now what?
Yeah, I mean whatever you would do in the end goal, unit sizing wise, that's what you should be doing now as well. So let's go ahead and move on to category number 2.
Public intoxication.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
So category number 2, public intoxication, the game that we did end up settling on. Out of the many options for the heavy public play of the day is Texas Tech and Mississippi State. So Texas Tech currently sitting at about a 7.5 point favorite at home. Again, depending on the book, you might get a little bit of a juiced -7 or a -8 even in some spots. But Chase, where is the public action on this game?
The public loves Texas Tech. I think 95% of the public is currently on Texas Tech right now, and around 98% of the total handle. So that is a lot. You don't see anything in the 95s very often.
Yeah, especially with a game that I'm assuming has a pretty high quantity of bets on it as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of surprised that the public is that heavy on Texas Tech, considering their double overtime loss to Kansas, but I guess it makes sense. They're at home, well-coached team. But Mississippi State, I mean, I think they're going to hang around. I have to go with Mississippi State here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it can be a low-scoring game. Obviously, a lot of Texas Tech games are low-scoring, except for maybe this past week against Kansas. And in these type of low-scoring defensive matchups, giving me 7.5 points is something that I'm going to take. I think this game can stay pretty close.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that this is a good spot for Mississippi State. Mississippi State, I mean, what have we seen them do there the last couple times out? Chase, I know you and I were on them pretty heavy as our favorite play of the day on stream when they took on Florida a couple games ago. But I think that was 10 days ago. So that was a game that they had an edge in, and then they lost down the stretch. Then they blew out Ole Miss, big rivalry game, and then on the road at Kentucky. I mean, they took them to overtime also, and then only scored 2 points in OT. So this is a team that's playing a lot of good teams close, both at home and on the road. And I think laying 7.5 in what, like you guys said, should be a low-scoring game. I like Mississippi State to cover, and the model does too. Model has this as a 68.9 to 66.3 win for Texas Tech. So a very, very slight lean on the over, but then definitely liking Mississippi State to cover. So let me get all of these.
Texas Tech's going to be a team that you do not want to face in March. I'll definitely say that.
Absolutely.
No.
Like, their style fits perfectly for the tournament.
Similar to that Texas Tech team 3 years ago that made the national championship.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a new coach and new players for the most part, but they play a really tough style. They're not going to get blown out. They're going to be in every game. So one thing that actually does worry me a little bit with Texas Tech is the fact that they do play kind of so slow and methodical. They're good at it, but those are traditionally the types of teams that can get upset early on.
Yeah, especially if you get down early in a game, you're not built to come from behind. I've seen that, and then now you're pressing and as in speeding up, and yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the poll. The poll seems pretty strongly aligned here, and they're fading us. They're on Texas Tech. So usually when we do the public intoxication, the chat will be on the opposite side of the public, because chat thinks that they're sharp by fading the public. But they are all over Texas Tech on this one. So
they're fading us.
They're fading. Not only are they fading, they're fading us. They're tailing the public and fading us instead. How dare you, chat? How dare you? So anybody have any final comments on this game?
No.
All right, so let's take a jump along to category number 3.
Court streakers.
We're going streaking! Yes!
And not so surprisingly, our discussion game is Kent State and Bowling Green. And specifically, we're talking about the total in this game. So Bowling Green has hit the over in 10 straight games. That's a lot. And this number sitting at 145.5, 146. I think I put the poll up at 146. It looks like consensus has drifted a little bit down towards 145.5. That's a pretty low number, just generally speaking, for a team that has, again, gone over 10 games in a row. So this Kent State team does play extremely good defense, and they play at a very slow tempo, which is, I believe, why this number is so low. Kent State, according to KenPom, is 312th in tempo out of 358 teams, and they rank 112th in defense relative to 260th in offense. So Kent State does have a tendency to kind of make games on the grindier side. That being said, do either of you have any strong feelings about where this total is going to go?
Ben?
Yeah, I'll start it off. It's funny because 146, Nick was alluding to as low, but it seems like a decently, high number, but in retrospect to how Bowling Green is played, it is low. But
yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of numbers up in like the 150s, and I think even crossing 160 once or twice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the under here. I'm not trying to be contrarian and sharp and say, oh, the streak ends here, like they're due for an under. But I just think the matchup with Kent State, I mean, at a certain point, I think teams really have to dial in on this. And I think with a team like Kent State, who already plays at a slow pace, I think that they just double down on that. And they play, pretty solid defense, as Nick said. So I am going to go with the under in this one. It's probably going to be really close. I'm not going to be betting this, but I would lean under.
Chase, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree with Ben. I think Kent State will really try to slow him down here. What does the model have it at?
So the model has this at 143.5.
Okay, yeah.
So under by a couple points, and I do like that under quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I'll lean under here. Again, not a game that I'm going to bet either, but lean under.
Yeah, so I think I'll say, just to wrap the discussion up on this game, I mean, Bowling Green, last time out, I talked about it on stream with Mush and Ryan on, I believe it was Tuesday, the last time this team played. So that game just barely squeaked over. Total was at 140. I think 154.5 was the number that we had talked about on stream. It actually ended up closing at 152.5, and it went over that number that we had up on stream by 1.5 points. So they're cutting it close. And this Eastern Michigan team that they played last time loves to fly up and down the court. So I think that this Kent State game is where the streak ends. The only thing that I really think could take this over is free throws, because it should be a close game. Spreads at 2.5. Model has it as a very close game as well, and then you always run the risk in those situations of free throws carrying a game over,
or worse, overtime.
Yeah, or to overtime, where unders go to die.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I will say though, Akron plays at a pretty slow pace. They played them a few games back. That was one of their over games too. So I know that's just one small sample size, but
no, that's true. Akron is weird. Akron plays slow of their own accord, but is very happy to run with fast teams.
Yeah, let me take a look.
They did it against Bowling Green. I know they did it against Buffalo. That game against Buffalo finished in like the 170s or 180s. That was actually one of their highest paced games against Bowling Green. So I guess they said, "Hey, fuck it. You guys want to play fast? Let's play fast." Yeah,
and they won.
Akron prefers to play slow, but is happy to play fast.
Also, it was funny. The other day, someone out of nowhere was like, "Nice pick on Akron, clown," and I was like, "That wasn't me. I've never picked Akron all year." And then he deleted the message on Twitter. I was like, "That's classic gambling Twitter."
You know what's funny is there was somebody yesterday in the chat on Trent's stream who was like, "This guy sucks." You remember the Stony Brook pick? The Stony Brook Vermont under?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like still caught up on one pick from weeks ago.
From
when the model, the models literally put out scores for almost 3,000 games this year. So that's 3,000 sides, 3,000 totals. And yeah, there was one of them that was a very bad call.
Well, we know which one he bet.
30 from 3. And
Chase, someone's going to hit you up. They're going to be like, 2 years ago, you had Colorado beating Washington. And well, I guess it's like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that.
Yeah. I still get it. I still sometimes get DMs about picks on action. I'm like, dude, it's not even.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to category number 4. We're gonna try and go a little quick. I know Chase has a game that starts in 20 minutes as his best bet of the day, so we're gonna keep some tempo here. So category number 4,
Game of the day.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star.
And no surprise, The game of the day is Kentucky and Kansas. So two extremely good teams, two top 15 teams. I think this is actually the only game today between two ranked teams, as crazy as that is to say. So in this game, we've got Kansas as a 5-point favorite at home, over under sitting at 152.5 in most spots. So anybody have any thoughts on this game or on either of these teams?
Well, so it looks like Kentucky's going to get Ty Washington back. At least he was shooting around this morning. I think that's going to make a big difference. What worries me, I think Kentucky might be the better team here. What worries me about Kentucky is the fog is going to be rocking tonight. This will be the biggest environment that they have all season, and it is a really, really tough place to play. I've been there before. I think it's the loudest place that I've ever been in. So I think that could cause Kentucky some problems, especially early on. But I do actually think that they're playing the better basketball right now.
You think?
I know that's not a pick. I'm kind of in between on this game.
You can also make a total pick. Total picks are acceptable on this game.
I think bet the over and have some fun with it. I know it's a huge number, but
so is that what you wanted me to throw up as your lean?
That'll be my lean. Yeah, I'll go with the over.
All right. So Ben, what about you?
I'm gonna go with UKU.
UKU.
Yeah. Then I can just edit it out.
The blue team.
No, that's what I should start doing.
Yeah,
I should say
blue
both
team
sides.
with a K in their name.
I should just say both sides within the stream, and then I'll just clip it out, and then I'll just clip the winner.
Yeah, and we'll
that's
delete
a
the
terrible idea.
VODs, and we'll literally never lose a bet again in our lives.
Yeah. So I know Stone Bets is on Kansas. I saw that on Twitter earlier, and then he just put that in the chat. But I actually kind of lean Kentucky, but I am not betting this. And I know it sounded like I had money on Kentucky the way I responded to him on Twitter, but I think it's going to be close. 5 is a tough number because, I mean, it could literally come down to just free throws. Like if Kansas is up 2 and then the foul game happens, like it's always a tough number, -4, -5. But yeah, I mean, the environment's going to be crazy. I tend to stay away from these marquee matchups, so that's just my lean. I'm not betting it. Not a lot of confidence for me.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to take the opposite side of Chase on this one. And I'm going to not have any fun and take the under on this one. So the model has this game as a 71.2 to 69.9 win for Kentucky. So the model actually likes Kentucky to take this by about a point. So I would also lean with Kentucky here. In fact, you know what? I'm going to throw up both as leans for myself. But I think that the under here is a pretty good play. We saw a couple, or I guess Kansas's last game against Texas Tech. The raw point total in that game was quite high because it went to OT. I went to double OT.
Double, yeah.
But I think that was a game that, for the most part, right up until the last couple of minutes, was on pace to go under. And I think that sitting at in the 150s now, with how good Kentucky's defense can be and how kind of streaky their offense can be, they can be very hot, but they can also go absolutely ice cold. I think that this is a game where there's just going to be a 3 or 4 minute cold stretch for both of these teams, and it finishes more at like 140 as opposed to 150. That's what that's what I'm counting on here.
Kansas plays well at home. I mean, they typically do. It just comes down to can they cover, and I think that's baked into the line, right? Like on a neutral, this is probably closer to 1 or 2, to be honest. So
yeah, I mean,
they're one of the worst teams against the spread this year, I think, especially compared to their record.
Who, Kansas is?
Kansas, yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the exact.
Chase, that makes a lot of sense because earlier in the season, like a lot of people were like betting on Kansas, hyping them up, and they closed at some numbers where I'm like, yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, Kansas is 8-11 against the spread this year. Kentucky is 9-11 against the spread. So
you typically see out of those blue bloods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So chat didn't really have a lot of opinions. Only 7 votes came in on this one. And naturally, it was extremely split. But I think that with the way it's split, it's going to be Kentucky and the over as a tie in first as chat's leads.
Yeah, there you go. Kansas 10-0 at home, 5-7 ATS. I don't know how that happened.
But that didn't check out, man.
What happened in those 2 other games?
Yeah, they were money line pushes.
One time I was so confused, like matching up ATS and straight up, and I was like, why can't I figure this out? And then it was because they played a D2 team. I spent like hours figuring it out. I'm like, I'm an idiot.
That's how it works. That happens to me all the time.
What's our favorite team in Idaho, Nick?
Oh, like Carver Bible College or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get a hat and just wear that around, and people are going to be like, what's that?
What's the one like Lady of the Lake or something like that?
Oh, yeah, the Ozarks.
Yeah. Lady of the Ozarks.
There needs to be like a tournament of all of these random ass
that'd be
D3
so fun.
like
Sage. There's the Sage Institution.
Yeah, or like the
Yeah.
like the NCCAA schools.
Oh yeah.
National Collegiate Christian Athletic or like Athletic
Yeah,
Association or whatever it is. There needs to be a big tournament of all these teams that play a bunch of bye games. And then the winner of the tournament still gets paid but doesn't have to get beat up 10 times.
Is a 16 seed in the tournament? No.
No. All right, so let's wrap up the stream by moving into our best bets. Here, just real quick, for the sake of playing it, is the intro.
Big Brain Plays.
Come on. Think. Brain blast!
But chat, I need your favorite bets today so that I can make a poll. Let me know what you're on in the chat. Just the first 5 things that I see, I will throw up in the poll. Give me both the actual game or the team and the line. And while chat is doing that, Chase, I know you have a bet that is your favorite today that starts in 9 minutes.
Yeah, it does. So we got to make sure that they get it out there. It's Auburn, Oklahoma over 136. I think it might be 135.5 in some places, but I still like it at 136. Auburn is a nightmare matchup for Oklahoma, especially in the pick and roll. Oklahoma really struggles guarding the pick and roll. So I actually kind of do like Auburn as well. But I think Oklahoma, to stay in this game, they're going to have to shoot a lot of threes, and I think this game gets over pretty easily. It almost feels like a trap to be a number that low, but I think this game goes over.
All right. Let me look real quick and see where I have the model. So model has us going under by a couple points. But I do think that this is a really nice bounce back spot for Auburn. I think that Auburn is going to put up a lot of points, more points than the model thinks that they're going to. So I actually
what's the score on the model?
I have it 74-59 basically. So I think Auburn's due for a big bounce back. So I'm not opposed to this play, even though the model technically doesn't like it. So from chat, I see we've got Bama plus 3.5. I'll throw in Xavier moneyline minus 130. Stanford plus 11.5.
Throw up that Gonzaga over, Nick.
VCU Richmond, okay. Over 132.5. And Gonzaga. Who's Gonzaga play today?
Portland. Over 150. Duke. Yeah. Nice. It's
Ben,
almost over.
do you bet every Gonzaga game?
No. So I'll tell you a funny story. 2 years ago, and then even last year, I bet probably every other Gonzaga game, whether it was their first half spread, or over under, and I made a lot of fucking money. But this year is weird. This year, I don't have a good gauge on them because they're younger, and like with Chet, they're a little more inconsistent. So I've stayed off of them.
Yeah, last year was the first halves that were hitting a bunch, right?
Yeah, and I mean traditionally Gonzaga, like I know I said Blue Bloods aren't good cover teams, but Gonzaga over the last like 4 years has to be over 55%, I think, ATS. So
Yeah,
they're just so deep. So when they have those big point spreads, their second unit guys are. I mean, they could. I mean, the second unit guys could beat Portland straight up. So sorry, Portland.
A good portion of this team is basically their second unit from last year.
Yeah, but that's not my best bet.
What is
my
your
best bet? Weber State, 10.5 minus 10.5. So this team, man, I hate to say it, but I think Weber State's gonna make it out of the Big Sky. I really do, and the only reason why I wasn't higher on them the last few games is because they had a stretch where they beat up on Idaho State 2 times in a row. I think they played Idaho, and before that they had a loss to Montana. So I was kind of like, how good is this team actually? Are they for real? And then in the early part of the season, they beat up on some shitty teams. But they showed a lot of poise on the road against a good UNC team, Northern Colorado. Last game, they won by, I think it was 9. They were up by 18. And Sacramento State is a team that is really bad, bottom of the Big Sky. Weber State now, I think, is in that mentality where they're really focused on, hey, like, let's win the Big Sky. Let's get things rolling. It's almost February, so I think that continues. And I like them to win by 14 or 15. I didn't even see what the model said about this one, Nick, but
model does have Weber State covering. You've been picking the last few days picks that the model doesn't like. But
Colorado State.
Yeah, Colorado State and Marshall the day before.
Oh yeah, that's true. Colorado State, unbelievable.
Yeah, and actually Colorado State the day before that also. But that one worked out.
But they covered.
When they played Nevada, they did cover that game.
Yeah, Damian Lillard is out of Weber State.
Yeah,
I got to watch him firsthand back in college when I went to Northern Colorado, so that was fun.
Oh, cool.
All right, so I guess I have to make my favorite bet known of the day. And I have a kind of off the cuff, off the radar game that I'm kind of into right now. And that is, let me pull it up over here. I like Presbyterian minus 1.5 against UNC Asheville. Talk about teams that don't sound like they're actual Division I teams.
Nick, not D2 schools, Nick.
No, Presbyterian should be in like the NCCAA, right?
Do they have donor money? Like, how do these teams sneak into the D1?
So
don't they have like a high school gym?
Probably.
Oh, that's the school, yeah.
So they have one of the best nicknames in all of college sports. They're the Presbyterian Blue Hose. Like, not HOES, but like
Colin. No.
But HOSE. So this team, just looking at their record, they don't look very good. They're 9-12 overall, including 1-5 to start out Big South play, which is bad. That being said, they've played some good teams extremely close. They beat Charleston Southern on the road in their last game. Charleston Southern sucks, but that's their one conference win. Before that, they only lost by 1 at home to Longwood. Longwood is 14-5, sitting at 6-0 in the conference. They played Winthrop at home. Winthrop is always really good. They're 6-1 in conference. Only loss was to Longwood. Presbyterian only lost that game by 2. They played at Gardner Webb. Only lost that game by 3. That's another really tough team. This Presbyterian team has a lot of really good athletes. It's an incredibly athletic team. They struggle at times on the offensive end. But I think that with all of these close games, I think that they're a little bit undervalued here, only getting 1.5 points at home. So I like this as a spot for them to kind of put the pieces together and bring home a 5 or so point win against UNC Asheville.
What time is that at?
That is at 4 o'clock Eastern.
Okay.
So there's your ball sack state pick of the day from me.
I love it.
Very ball sacky.
So poll is done for chat, and they like the minus 130 money line that I probably shouldn't have put in there because it's a minus 130 going up against a bunch of minus 110 plays. But Xavier, money line.
I bet that game, but it scares me because it's just one of those that line looks off.
I hate the Big East.
Me too.
I'm like mostly on strike from betting at least sides in the Big East. Just because I feel like there's 10 teams in that conference that on their day, I mean, can be the best team in the conference, and any of the like any team can beat any team by 20, except for like Butler. Can't beat anybody by 20, but.
And Creighton's?
Chase, I'm curious. Have you been watching or in tune with the Big Sky much this year?
Not too much. No, a little bit more early on, but not recently.
Yeah, I was just curious who you think's going to come out of the Big Sky.
I like that Weber pick. I watched quite a bit of Weber early on because they played like 3 big teams all in a row: Utah State, BYU, and one other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're. I think they brought back like everyone from last year. I know a lot of teams did that because of the COVID year, but I think they're going to make a run to get into the tournament. So,
how's Montana State?
Montana State looks really good. That was actually going to be my call to come out of the Big Sky.
Yeah, it's probably going to be one of those 2 teams. Unfortunately, Northern Colorado is just too inconsistent. Like, if they're shooting well, they're going to lose by 10 points. That's, they're a team that doesn't play defense that well, so I hate to say that as a alum, but just being honest. Dalen Kuntz is having a good year, though.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's had a few big games, huh?
Yeah, He's dropped 30 a few times.
Yeah, no, Big South is a kind of sneaky good conference this year. I mean, Montana's really good. Southern Utah's
Big Sky.
Big Sky, not Big South. Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 teams, and then Eastern Washington is still like a team that
the model has the biggest crush on Eastern Washington. It's hilarious.
Nobody stays up to watch them, but the West is way better at basketball than the East. The WCC, the Mountain West.
Mountain West is, I think, the best Mountain West squad or top to bottom I've seen in 5-6 years.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to reiterate what Chase said. The West Coast Conference is extremely good this year. St. Mary's is solid as always. San Francisco is a really good team this year. Santa Clara is a really good team. BYU, of course, is a really good team. And then Gonzaga is Gonzaga. I mean, that's a team that could put a conference that could put 5 schools in the NCAA tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised at all.
How many Oh, you think use 5?
I mean, well, Gonzaga, BYU, St. Mary's are getting in, no questions asked.
I think it's only a 3 bid.
And then I think San Francisco gets in also.
San Francisco feels like a team that's going to win the NIT, especially with their veterans.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
I think that San Francisco should get into the tourney. So I guess 4 is the correct number, not 5.
San Francisco is going to be like right on the cusp, I think.
Yeah, I mean, or San Francisco will end up as that team that's like ranked number 25 in Ken Pom and then just doesn't get into the tournament.
Yeah. They just have to hope that Fresno State continues to play well because of that win earlier in the season. Because they lost to BYU, lost to Gonzaga, lost to St. Mary's, so I know the tournament committee is going to be like, "Whoa, what was their big win?"
Yeah, San Francisco has a lot of good wins against like really top tier mid-major teams. Like
UAB.
Yeah,
That's
UAB is a really good win. I mean, even a school like Towson's a top 100 team in KenPom. They beat them. Nevada's a good win. Davidson is a good win. Davidson's probably a.
I forgot they beat Davidson.
Yeah, I mean they won at Arizona State. They're not great this year, but I mean that is a power conference win.
Yeah, they should get in actually, as long as they don't collapse down the stretch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're just gonna need to pick up a couple wins against the BYU's or St. Mary's, or a couple wins against Santa Clara, type of deal would really help.
And Duke got the cover.
Duke got the cover? Nice. I bet on Duke. If I wasn't delayed for so long this morning, I would have given out Duke as a play, but I felt like that was irresponsible to do with like 5 minutes of warning for people to bet on it. So a couple things in the comments. So Graki says, yeah, all three of us are in Colorado, actually. Ben, Chase, and I.
From Colorado. Chase is currently in Ohio.
Oh, you're currently in Ohio, but you live in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, your brother's been in Costco for a while.
He's next to me now. He's watching games.
Oh, I was like, man, he's buying a lot of food for the weekend.
It's like a traffic accident in Costco or something.
What's up, man? What was the best thing you bought at Costco?
What do you say? What's the
best thing you bought?
The ramen, I think.
The ramen. You guys ever have Costco ramen?
They do have some good ramen mixes, man.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had Costco
Good
ramen.
answer. The one that's like pre-made and you throw it in the microwave for 4 minutes, it's unbelievable.
I'll have to give that a try. Have to get a Costco membership first.
I got one, Nick.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I don't go as often though, but I should go more.
And Syrian Prodigy, first time chat, says, love you guys. I wish you would stream a lot longer throughout the week. Surgical stream is cool and gets a lot of viewers, but it's very inaccurate and unorganized. So we have been streaming, I think starting up like just this past week, doing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams, in addition to the Saturday and the upcoming Sunday NFL stream tomorrow. So we're trying to be live in like that 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock time slot. I mean, at least me on here with a rotating group of other people. So be sure to drop a follow on the stream, and look for us to be live 1 to 2 Eastern, but right before the surgical stream, most days of the week. And Peter Crouch says, sorry if I missed it. What does the model say about Xavier? The model has Xavier winning by about 4 points. So the model does like them minus, probably minus 2.5. It's at now.
I think it was 1.5 last time I checked.
Yeah, still 1.5. I was thinking with a minus 130 money line, it would be more like 2, but whatever. And the model likes the under quite a bit. I do have action on the under in that game. So I've got nothing else. I think it's time to go watch some basketball. Real quick, Stonebets asked about Abilene Christian. I actually have Abilene Christian only winning by 6.5. But we'll have to see. With Southland Conference games and conferences like that, the spreads can be a little sketch from the model.
Abilene Christian. I remember when Chase bet that last year.
That was my pick, yeah.
Yeah.
Rounded out right.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and call it there. We will be, if anybody has model questions, feel free to hop into our Discord and ask. I can talk about stuff in the college basketball channel in there for a little while. So Ben and I will be live tomorrow, I believe at 11:30 Eastern. Does that sound right, Ben? First game's at 1.
Bengals.
Pick some props. Bengals. Oh man, it's a bug going around the Denver area.
Yeah, man. That Burrow cold, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Ohio. That's got to be another sign too, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Bengals gear around here.
I'm sure there is.
I'm not saying they're gonna win outright, but you get 7.
Oh, and 7.5 even.
Yeah, I saw it. Took a 7.5 move this morning, right?
I mean, look, let's use this wonderful tool that we have.
That's just the pick out of spite against Brittany and what's his name, Jackson. God. Just like, oh, come on, guys, let me have fun. Who cares that I sprayed alcohol over everybody? Guys are haters.
He's like a living South Park character.
Imagine like going home to your wife and you're like, I swear there's some crazy lady. She sprayed alcohol over me. I didn't drink. Yeah. I'm gonna believe that.
Or getting pulled over by the cops and
yeah, sir. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
Never believe this, but Patrick Mahomes' wife poured alcohol over him.
Yeah, and there's this kid doing a dance. It was 7.5 on FanDuel. Wow. Yeah, but yeah, we'll talk about that more in depth tomorrow.
Yeah, so be sure to tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Been doing really well in the postseason with props and stuff. So be sure to tune in for that. Let's go watch some college basketball.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Chase. See you next
Got
time.
it.
And
See
good
you
luck
guys.
with the bets, as always.